Hello, hello. We're back with another Relationship Wednesday talking about God and motherhood. So today we have Tamara Douglas.
Yes.
Who is a young mother who has 4 children.
Yes.
Right? Okay. 3 girls and 1 boy.
Mm-hmm.
So we had her mother on here the other Wednesday. So Tamara,
Yes.
how has motherhood been for you? As far as raising, let's start off with the first one. Okay, so find out, you're having your first child. Were you nervous? Did you feel like, okay, I'm ready for this? For someone else out there that may be just getting ready to have a child, or, how was that for you? How did you handle it? What was your thoughts? What did you do?
Was I nervous to become a mother?
Your very first child. I mean, were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous to become a mom, but I was, since I've never been in labor before, I was nervous of labor pains.
Okay, so basically you were a little nervous on how is this going to feel because
right.
You haven't experienced that. So how was labor for you?
What kept me through labor, I would just be in my word every day to keep fear away and meditate on the word. And I think I went through it pretty good.
Okay.
Strong.
All right. So how was your actual pregnancy experience? Because, you hear different stories of, I was sick the whole time, or, so did you have pretty good pregnancies?
Yeah, I had 4 great pregnancies.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have any sickness, any pain.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I feel like I had 3 great pregnancies as well.
Yeah.
I went through them really, really well, and the deliveries weren't horrible. Yes, intense, but it was, as Pastor says, when you focus on the end product, right. I'm going to have a beautiful child. You focus on that, and that's what I learned. I focus on that kind of thing, and then I could handle the labor pains, when you focus on that. And then afterwards, when the baby's here, it's like you totally forget, at least for me, totally forget all of that you went through.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so skip over to now you have the children. So raising them, and have you found it to be difficult, or did it come kind of natural? Did you, how was that? Or how is that? Because you're still raising them. You have little kids.
I think it would be difficult if I didn't have God. But with God, it's great. It's excellent.
Okay,
yeah.
So explain a little better. Like, okay, so how is God playing a part in that for you?
I don't think I would be a great mother. I believe I am a great mother. I don't believe I would be a great mother without God in the center of my heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when they're pulling at your coat strings, or they're fighting, or they're disobedient, whatever. So how are you handling that? Because again, we all believe in God, and but I know there's sometimes that they like, okay, hold up. So how do you
just
handle that? Just got to
be patient. Mm-hmm. Patient with them.
Yeah, definitely patience.
And I'm naturally calm, so
yes,
just got to be.
That's true.
Got to be calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So are you? Because you're married to Randy Douglas. So who's the disciplinarian in your in the between the two of you, or do both of y'all play a part in disciplining them for the most part?
We both play a part in disciplining them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
He's
right.
more of a vocal disciplinarian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what do you? you hand out the spankings or something?
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't do any spankings.
Okay.
Like when he raises his voice, they listen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good kids, so I don't really spank them. They probably they don't get spanked a lot. Like it's occasionally, and it has to build up to that. Because I'm vocally disciplined too, but
okay.
I have to keep repeating myself and repeating myself and repeating myself. He can just say it.
One
my husband
time.
can say it one time,
Yep.
and Yeah, and they listen.
Yep. You sound like me. It's the same thing in our household, how it was with when my kids were younger. They're older now. But literally, Wayne, he pretty much, I don't think any of them got a spank. I think Asia and Wayne got 2 spankings out of their whole life up to, age 3. Literally. And Jaden got the most because he was the more rambunctious and everything. But he was still a toddler by the time his last one, probably he was maybe he got it up to 5. He got the most. Maybe not even 5. I don't even think he was that old. But yeah. But with them, it was almost like, they're all really good. And it was the same thing. Like if they did something, if I disciplined them, it was me having to say it multiple times. He said one time, it's done. They're straightened up. So I got to the point, instead of me, fussing, because they'll call me the fuss bucket, because they say I just fuss all the time. I'm like, because you don't listen. I have to say it more times. Yeah. So what I would do when, them growing up, all I had to do is say, all right, I'm going to tell Daddy. And they would just be like, it was just... And you would think that, he was this mean person. He's not. It's just that he put it in when they were young. When they were, like I said, 3 years old, up to that point, they knew, we supposed to do what and he didn't just spank them. I remember one time in particular with Asia, I forgot what it was that she did, but she did something. But before he actually gave her a spanking, he sat her down and said, okay, well, you did X, Y, Z, and what happens if you do X, Y, Z? And she said, I get a spanking. So he said, okay, so you understand I'm spanking you because of this. And she said yes. And he gave her a little spanking. She did her little cry. It was over. But it was like he never, I don't ever recall him spanking them out of anger. That's the other thing. It was always out of love and to let them know you're not supposed to do this. But for the most part, I've really had no real issues out of them, nothing out of the ordinary. So
with my kids too. Ramaya and the girls, they've only, the baby, she hasn't got spankings, but the girls, they only got like a couple of spankings. Now my son, he's gotten more.
He's the boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He doesn't listen to me. He listens to his dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's wild. It's because, God put it in place that way, where the father is the head and you're the mother. And so it's like instinctively children know.
Yeah.
Listen to
and
Daddy.
I do the same thing, telling them, not I'm going to tell your daddy. I say I'm going to call your daddy, put him on FaceTime.
Okay.
And then he straightens up.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if I just call him, I have to put him on FaceTime, because if I just call him, he'll run away from the phone.
Oh. But if he knows he can see him, he's like, oh, he can see me. It's like he's here.
Right.
Yes. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, I don't know if we even had... I don't think we had FaceTime back then, but I don't remember. But I do recall definitely having to just use his name. It's almost like, when we call him God, It's like,
Our Father.
Our Father, yes. It's yes. So as far as like schooling and is it, do they enjoy school, or are you don't homeschool, right? They go to school?
So they go to school. I wanted to homeschool them, but my husband wants them in school, so we compromise and they go to school, and I just pray for them every morning, every day. Yeah. Okay. And I pray nothing's going to happen to them. They're going to be good. God is covering them.
Right.
Pray from them every morning. Yeah.
Okay. And so I know you're a stay-at-home mom, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
with the 2 youngest.
Right. So having children around all the time, I know sometimes you probably want to, have your space. So how do you deal with that? When I just need a woosah, or maybe you don't ever feel like you need a woosah, but if you do, what do you do? I mean,
that's usually at night when everyone's asleep.
Okay, so you use that time to have some time for yourself, and then how as far as you and Randy, do y'all get y'all date nights and things like that, so y'all can work on y'all, keeping things tight with you all. So you get somebody to babysit, or or you just...
Yeah, grandmas are great.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Grandmas are great.
Yeah.
I would say, yes, my mom, when she was still living, she watched them a lot, but I would say when they were smaller, their godparents, I know, watched them quite often as well. So, yes, it's good to have other family and different things be able to step in to help, keep everything, because everybody needs their woosah moment or their time together with their spouse, significant other, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, do you get a chance to take like the whole family out to restaurants and things, and how do the kids act? And if they are acting out, how do you handle that, like in public? Because sometimes, I'll go places and you see, the kids running around or whatever, and I'm just thinking, okay.
Yeah, well, my kids, they don't run around. No, Randy, he might act up. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not going to run around, but he might stand up in the chair or something like that, okay. Or get too loud where the whole restaurant can hear him. But
so how do you handle that, or how does Randy handle that?
Randy handles that.
Okay.
Yeah, in seconds.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he's like, oh, okay.
Right.
But, okay, there's times that Randy's not there when you've taken him out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't think he's ever acted up when he's, yeah.
Okay. He probably knows Daddy's going to find out, so I better be straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're pretty good at restaurants. Because I teach them how to eat at home, mm-hmm. and manners at home. And you take that out with you when you go to restaurants and when you eat at school. Mm-hmm. You take these etiquette to school when you go out in public too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that all of my children were pretty picky eaters, and especially Jaden, he was probably the most picky eating. And do you have picky eaters? If so, how do you make sure they still get well-balanced meals, things like that?
They used to be picky eaters.
Okay.
Randy's still kind of a picky eater, but yeah, they get out of that. They got out of that like in school. Mm-hmm. So after I packed their lunch.
Okay.
They're not picky eaters. They eat everything now. They used to be picky eaters before they started school.
Okay.
So Ramaya and Raylan, they used to be picky eaters, but now they eat everything because when I cook dinner, I'm only cooking one dinner. So they know you're going to eat this food or...
eat or starve.
Right.
Yeah, I was a lot different. In that case, I was like the short order chef or whatever. Oh, you want this? You want this? So yeah, they would all get different things. I know that Wayne always complained about that.
They learned to love my cooking, so.
Okay. Are you the cook in the house, or?
We both cook.
You both cook?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like cooking, but.
I don't like cooking either, but I do it.
Yeah, you have to do it if you want people to live, huh? So. Yeah, so how about, has there ever been a time where, when they get under the weather, a little sick, or even, something really happens? I mean, how have you handled situations, like when they're sick or anything, or have they, really not gone through any real major?
No, they haven't gone through any real major things, and we don't confess that.
Right.
They're sick.
Okay.
They say they have some symptoms. Mm-hmm. They'll come to me and say their throat hurts or their nose is running. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've taught them to pray over themselves. So I ask them before I pray over them. I'll pray over them too when they come and tell me that something hurts or they're not feeling well, and I ask them, did you pray to God? And they usually say, no, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after they say that I'll pray with them, and then pray over themselves.
Okay, so teaching them early to cover themselves, because you won't always be around when things happen. You got to know how to put that hedge of protection and everything around yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as friends, for them, have they had any? Because I know they're all in elementary, correct? So as far as friends and things, they have no problems making friends. If so, have you met friends of theirs that maybe you were like, I don't know if you need to be hanging around this type, this person?
They have no problem making friends, but they're not allowed to go to anyone's house.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's family. So they can go to cousins, people we know, cousins' house, their age, cousins their age, and their cousins can come over, but no, their friends they don't go over their friend's house.
Now, have they had any issues with that? I mean,
no.
Okay, so they understand why, you've explained to them why and everything. Okay, because I can see them probably wondering, well, gosh, they're having a pajama party, why can't I go? You haven't had any issues like that?
No,
okay.
Not yet.
Well, that's good. So that's good, because maybe I'm wondering, so as they get older, you think you'll start allowing them to do a little bit more? I mean, I understand they're in elementary now, but as they get older, do you think you'll allow a little bit more, like them going to maybe see a friend? And if so,
not
you don't even
seeing
think
a friend unless the friend goes to church or goes to the same church. Like they have their friend Naomi. They go to her house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's come over our house. But if we don't know them and don't know that, because I don't want them around anything worldly.
So how are you going to handle that? I mean, I understand you saying that. Do they go to the schools that they go to? Are they Christian schools?
No.
Okay, so
they're public schools.
Okay, so they're going to be around worldly things. So, but that doesn't. Because I hear you singing.
They haven't made any bad friends, like any friends.
So they seem to be a pretty good judge of character as far as. Yeah, that's what I've learned that with Asia, Wayne, and Jaden. I feel like they all are pretty much good judges of character when it comes to friends. I know, for instance, with Asia, she had certain friends that she felt like they were friends, but after being around them for a while or whatever, she don't have any problem in saying, oh no, I can't be your friend anymore. And it's really shocking to me, because I've never had the guts to say something like that, but Asia she's had the guts to tell somebody, I don't want to talk to you anymore, because she was really funny like that. She's still like that, but she's always been a very good judge of character, in my opinion. And I haven't had any issues with Wayne's or Jaden's friends. Now Jaden has a lot more friends, but overall the people they have chosen have been pretty good as far as good judge of character. Now Wayne Jr., he's more of a loner. He's a lot like his father. He has one or two, but overall he seems content just to himself, or he's just very quiet and secretive, and I don't know about his friends, but the few that I do know about, they've been pretty good, pretty cool. All of them are a lot like him, I would say.
Yeah,
So,
I'm like that too, more reserved.
Reserved, yeah.
Yeah, and I think my daughter Ramaya, the oldest, she's like me too. She only has a few friends, but they're good friends.
Yeah, I can see that she's a lot like you, just a little bit of conversation I've had. Like,
Raylan, though, on the other hand, she reminds me of my brother.
Oh, okay.
He was friends with his whole class when we were growing up.
Yes, that's Jaden.
Raylan's friends with everybody. She says everyone's my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see her. They have iPads, and I have to watch them on that. And I've caught Raylan on the phone with one of her friends, and I was like, oh wow, what are y'all talking about? She said they're reading the Bible, and I come in there, and she's reading the Bible to her friend.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like,
Okay.
okay. She said, yes, my friend's a Christian.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, that's great.
Well, that's good. She's
Yeah.
finding Christian friends. I found that with Asia. Didn't even know while she was in college who her friends were. But one day she just mentioned something about going to church or whatever with her friend. I'm like, oh. And she was saying how, this particular friend that she hangs around all the time. She said, oh, yeah, she's a real Christian. I mean, it was just like, she wasn't just saying it. She was an actual. So I was really happy because I do pray all the time that, bring godly and healthy relationships to our kids or whatever. So, all right, Ms. Tabera. Well, it's been great talking to you, but that is pretty much the end of our session. And we'll come back to you next week with another lady that I'll be talking to. And did you have any last words that you want to say, or you're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining Pastor Wayne Powell Sr. for this edition of Relationship Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed this episode of After I Did. Let's keep the conversation going by leaving your questions and comments in the chat. We also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you are reminded to join us next Wednesday as Pastor Wayne continues this discussion of After I Did.